Monterey County, open for business. Welcome back. In this segment, Dave Spaur and I are going to continue to talk about economic development in Monterey County, how important it is to right now and how important it is to the future. A lot of the things that go on now are things that will pay off in the future long term. So Dave Spaur is the Economic Development Director for Monterey County. Dave, thanks for joining me.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. Always good to see you again, Mary Ann.
Well, we can talk forever.
There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of ground to cover.
Yes, there is. So as we talked about, you've been here a little over 4 years, and I think a lot of the infrastructure that you needed as far as people in your department, you've got some hardcore people that have been with you from the beginning, and you've got housing in your department, and you've got workforce.
Correct.
And you've got economic development.
Correct.
Okay. So all of them touch everything. There's nothing
They do,
that
and
isn't
you would
touched.
think that they would fit together perfectly. But, you know, it's like the pieces of a puzzle. The infrastructure is the glue that binds them, and that means we need water, we need sewer, we need land use. You need a planning department, a building department, public works department. And we need partners with all the cities, and we need partners with all the nonprofits and the higher education community colleges and the K through 12. There's a lot of moving parts.
And any one of them can slip at any time and set you back 6 months. That's the problem.
That does happen.
So let's talk about workforce a minute. We
Sure.
were talking about that a few minutes ago. So I can't remember, maybe 2010 or so, the city of Salinas hired the Aspen Institute, and they had a study done that the workforce was not particularly highly educated in Salinas, but that they had great technical skills and that they learned a lot from doing. So, for instance, if they were in maintenance of field equipment for harvesting or whatever, if something broke, they actually learned to fix it, not by reading the manual, but by being smart and being able to see the parts and put them together. So I think Hartnell College has really taken the lead for our region in capitalizing on some of that with the help of the agricultural industry, for sure. They've had good conversations. Agriculture's put some money in there, and they've been able to further that. But one of the things that we found when we worked with Moravia coming here for language was that they needed mechatronics. And honestly, I didn't have a clue what it was, no idea. But MPC has it. And so with that, we've been able to work with them and further what they're doing. And we're able to connect them with Fox Industries up in Watsonville, who now have a couple people that are doing joint classes with them and doing some of the training, because that's also an issue, is finding the professionals that will also teach another generation. So
I think you hit the nail on the head. A lot of people don't understand what mechatronics is. Just when Silicon Valley took off and it was all based on a microchip and microprocessors, memory chips, and programmable read-only memory devices, it was a boom, and it came out of the military. But it was a convergence of different industries coming together. Mechatronics is bringing together the mechanics, the electronics, and the computer software to actually do some of the human activities that used to be done by manual labor. And what you find in our workforce is these cultural differences. There are people that are very hardworking and very reliable, and they keep coming back and coming back, and they're self-educating and learning. And now they're getting hungry for mechatronics training or Caterpillar engine, Cummins engines training. And the industry is seeking these people out. But they want somebody with the learning skills of not a degree. They want them to have 20 different skills all at once. And you can't necessarily find that in one area except agriculture and ag technology as they're coming together with remote processing and sensing, water technology, and food safety. Food safety has been a huge driver of this. So where workforce and industry come together seems to be happening at the community college level, and they're producing a 2-year college graduate. that has the flexibility to learn quickly and adapt to what industry needs. And then they're hungry to learn and continue, so then they go to our 4-year college institutions, paid for by the employer. It's a great marriage of higher education, entry-level workers that want higher skills but have a good work ethic. And Salinas Valley produces a very high-skilled work ethic in an individual that requires additional education. Now our community colleges are rising up to provide that education and the technical training. Technical training is the #1 skill. It used to be soft skills. Everybody wants technical training. As soon as they get technical training, they want to marry it with soft skills. I think megatronics is a combination of technical and soft skills coming together.
No, I was, when I started learning about it, I was like, wow, this is like pretty incredible. So I do think it is the key to our future. I think that it's one of the things that we can do going forward. Do you see any people coming around here wanting to do more of marine research and that sort of thing? Are you getting inquiries?
We do. We get inquiries, and they're very small, very specialized companies. Some of them are agricultural applications. Some are purely ocean research applications. They're still mapping the seafloor, and they're looking at currents. They're trying to figure out what the effects of this drought, California's great drought during the last 5 years, has done to our oceans. Last year we had these algae blooms. The rest of the world's having these algae blooms. You read yesterday that they're replanting coho salmon in Scott Creek and Waddell Creek up in Santa Cruz County. All of this is related. And so the researchers are coming here for the blue economy to understand it and what the impacts will be on human life as a food source for us. And sustainable agriculture, water, pesticide, all of that coming together. So the difficulty with the marine science is you drop 1 drop of water into the ocean. It's hugely diluted, but they want to measure that. And that's an immense task. It's like working in space. We always thought oceanography and marine biology would produce some results in a year or less, and you just get a grant and you produce it. It takes 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and 40 years. So what was started by Jacques Cousteau is just now starting to produce some results for us.
Yeah, and that makes sense. That makes sense. One of the other big industries here is healthcare.
Oh,
And I know
changing environment.
the county has a fairly large grant in a consortium with some other counties to really work on the workforce and to study it and to see what we need for the future. But I think that's really important because as we have an aging population in one portion of the county, but we have a very rapidly expanding young population in another part of the county, we've got distinct ways of studying people and distinct differences. And diabetes has always been a big problem here with just people's diet. And so I think, there's another place that's just kind of ripe for studying.
I think diet's a revolution, and it has been a healthcare concern and a healthcare issue. But now science is applying new tactics. We look at medical cannabis and say, I don't want to have anything to do with that. But they have breakthroughs on diet, helping people with disorders in diet, and topical applications and other applications. We've always gone to botanics to find solutions in healthcare. Now we're finding a changing labor force. There are not enough people available to work in healthcare, do the science and the research, and there's some breakthrough research. We have biotech companies stretching from South Bay in San Francisco all the way to Monterey, and we have some knocking on our door right now from Pleasanton that is very specialized in the healthcare industry, and they believe their exit strategy will be able to sell to their parent company that they spun off from. So we're seeing the marine biology and the healthcare come together through talent and workforce that's creating solutions. The demand is there's not enough workers, and they're defining what the new worker is. When we ask what the new worker is, it's somebody that has the nursing skills, but some research skills, the phlebotomy and the blood skills, but also to be able to work with the patient and diagnose the patient. We no longer just diagnose for a cold, we diagnose the entire body, and then we figure out how it's all connected and related, and it's become this holistic kind of giant Craig computer to analyze what's going on and then fix the whole body, not just one little ailment. And this is creating a huge demand in education. Education hasn't been able to keep up. The hospitals have moved all to outpatient care. So they're accelerating home diagnostics, telemedicine technicians. Kaiser Health wants to move into the area. They're actually a competitor to our local hospitals, but their telemedicine aspect is moving faster than anybody else in the healthcare industry. And I think you'll see handheld devices that can do the diagnostics. But who's going to build the handheld diagnostics device? Who's going to build the software, the communication, and then the graphics for this to communicate back to the home healthcare center, the mothership hospital? And that may be Stanford, or it may be our own CHOMP, or our own Natividad, or Valley Medical. So we have a lot of technology changing in healthcare. We would like some of that centered here. It's a $2 billion industry for us in Monterey County. We'd like to produce the future workforce. We would like to become the wellness center, not only for elective surgeries, but for preventing aging and for young neonatal care, that they're finding out neonatal and stem cell research can help the elder cancer patient or surgery patient heal a little bit quicker. So it's a converging universe all coming together around us, and we're positioned pretty well next to the Bay Area for this.
I'm telling you, we're a micropolitan. You and I were in Cleveland last fall, I think it was, and Case Western gave an amazing talk at one of the sessions that we were in about the work that they're doing with IBM and with the delivery of medications to the bedside, and some of the diagnostic work that a little robot is now doing to replace some of the people in healthcare, and to augment that whole part of the system so that people who are professionals in there can work with people on more needy cases, and not just the day-to-day of here your aspirin type of thing. So
Right.
it's pretty amazing when you look at the innovation that's also going on.
Kinesiology is a program for Cal State Monterey Bay, and they've partnered with Chomp Hospital, and they've expanded into Ryan Ranch. A lot of people think that that's just joint exercise or stimulation and understanding the human body. It's actually related to Medtronics and what they do in diagnostic work and in preventative work for joints, joint replacement, and rehab. So we're starting to understand the human body a lot more than we used to understand the human body. And the training in simple things as joint replacement and rehab and wellness is turning into a major industry of understanding the mechanics of the body. And this is related to robotics, and how do we put a robot into a work environment that might be caustic or hostile or dangerous atmospherically. You can put a robot in there that doesn't breathe, and it can be a solution for mixing certain chemicals that are life-saving chemicals as well as life-threatening chemicals that are just breaking out in nanotechnology and biomedicine and biomechanics. You're just seeing everything converge in these industries to create brand new industries. And in some respects, I think we're on the verge of some of these brand new industries.
Well, and I think also when you look at, I was reading about the professor from UC Davis who has designed a strawberry now that can go to market and last longer and still have that fabulous fresh strawberry taste. And you look at all the things, we are demanding more as consumers. We want to have blueberries all year, and we want to have strawberries all year. So it's pretty amazing to me. The one thing I don't want to have all year, I don't care about, is kale. You know, I'm like not eating kale, period. Not going to eat it. So my agricultural friends don't like me to say that, but I have to say I can't stand it. So they can do whatever they want with kale, but strawberries, bring it on. Make the best strawberry. And I think that we're also, because of our growing seasons and the hoop houses and the things that they've now innovated, we're just right there to be able to be on the cutting edge of all that research.
I think we're on the cutting edge, but I think it's a secret. We're a very proprietary culture in the Salinas Valley. We don't share like Silicon Valley where they network. We're a partnership colony that likes to test and do the research almost in a vacuum. And then when it's ready to go to market, we want to be the first to go to market, and we're in a big hurry. I predict in a year you're going to be eating kale. It's going to be hidden in a vitamin. It's going to be integrated in new products, and you're going to need the fluorocarbons from kale because it's concentrated. You won't taste it, you won't know it, but it's so healthy for you. And all of us are moving into these diets to heal the brain, to live longer, to heal arthritis. And so we're mixing these products of food, and so we're back to the science of food, into our diets and into our medicines and into therapies. How should you be eating? When should you be eating? And what should you be eating as a human being to live longer or to cure cancer or to heal? Kale, strawberries, blueberries, these are all products that are become known as superfoods. We grow more superfoods in Salinas Valley than any other small concentrated area in the state of California or in the United States of America.
No, it's great. So, Dave, you and I could talk about all of this for a long time. And I want to have you back within the next month or so, and I want to talk about housing. We'll just specifically talk about housing and the workforce and that impact. Because I think as long as we can keep the dialogue and make people stay aware of some of the things that are going on and ways they can get involved, that would be great. But thank you so much for joining us today.
You're very welcome, and I look forward to coming back.
We look forward to partnering with you. So this is the Monterey County Business Council. Monterey County is open for business. Thanks so much for joining us.